I Am Elemental is running their annual Childhood Cancer Awareness campaign. All through the month of September, with the purchase of one Courage action figure, one will also be donated to a child fighting cancer. Courage is a 6.5-inch action figure with 30 plus points of articulation. Molded in durable plastic, she comes with a removable helmet, chest armor, flaming energy sword, and her Courage shield. Order yours today at imelemental.com and give one to a child fighting cancer at the same time. Link in the description below. Order yours today and change a child's life. Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. As I've been saying, I have a lot of stuff to get through over the next few months. And one of the pieces that I just got recently is this guy right here. The McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Nightfall Azrael Batman armor. And this is the one that when he got the DC license, I was really hoping that this figure was going to come out, this Azrael armor right here, because I always liked this look, not for Batman, but for Azrael. And when he came out with Azrael before, I was like, ooh, I hope we get the Azbat armor. And then we got the armor for, what was it? White Knight. And that didn't really do anything for me, though. The White Knight armor, Azrael Bat armor, is very bland, very boring. It's just all black. Whereas this is completely and unapologetically 90s in its look. And it's just so over the top. And it's just so extra that I just love this look. Now, the one thing I have to say is that making this a gold label figure, the reason I'm like even amazed that I have this is because this is a Walmart exclusive. And my Walmart in general, it seems, doesn't always get the exclusives. Like, there's this, then there's Parallax, then he has Shazam that's going to be a Walmart exclusive, then there's the Dark Flashes that, like, you have to get all three for the Build-A-Figure. And I don't know, man. Todd has just been putting out so many gold label exclusives between Walmart and Target and his own store and Amazon that, does he think we like this? Come on, Todd, just start putting things back out on shelves, okay? So, what we have here is the, as I said, Azrael Batman armor from Batman Nightfall. This is when Azrael took over the mantle of the Bat when Bruce had his back broke by Bane. And so now, I actually can't wait to get the Bane figure and just have these guys square off. That's going to be really cool. So with our packaging here, we have our typical McFarlane packaging. Black box, big open window, gold label up here, name and everything down here. Up top, more window so that the light can shine down through. On the side, Azrael Batman armor, more window, DC Multiverse. This side you've seen already, Azrael Batman armor, Nightfall. And then on the back, we have this beautiful graphic, which this is actually one of the covers from the Nightfall series. It was Nightfall the Crusade. This was after Bruce had his back broken, and Azrael was all entrenched in becoming Batman. And anybody who read it remembers that this wasn't even the original look. For a while, Azrael was just wearing the Batman suit at the time, which was the gray and blue, which is why this is predominantly gray and blue. It's a riff on the original suit. And this was the cover of the issue that introduced the armor that he had been building. So this is really cool. And this is the graphic that's going to be on the trading card more likely than not. And I really like this. I like that they've done away with the cross-sell, and McFarlane has just gone to like a big graphic on the back of the packaging. I like this. I like the look of it. I think it looks cool. So, without further ado, let's get the package open. Let's take a look at our boy Azrael in here. And we will take a look at McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Azrael Batman armor. Okay, here he is, Azbat out of the box, and putting the tape measure to him, we can see that he is 7.5 inches to the top of his Azbat ears. And now bringing him closer, like I said at the beginning of the video, this figure is so unapologetically 90s with its just overindulgence of spiky points, the claws, the pouches. Like, obviously we have to have the utility belt, but then we have this pouch belt wrapped around his leg. We have these bat things, bones, spines, whatever, coming off of the legs. They're coming off of the gauntlets. He has the clawed... Oh, the clawed hands look really good. They look really good on Azrael right here. And we have these angry, just red dot piercing eyes in the helmet, the cowl, the expression on the cowl as well. Like, this whole thing is done very well. And then we have the gold down in here. And my only issue with this is that I feel like the colors on this are muted. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like maybe this shouldn't have been gold. Maybe this should have been yellow, just like the original Batsuit was gray, blue, and yellow, and I believe it was yellow in the comics. I don't know. Maybe if it was yellow, it would be too loud for this figure. But for some reason, to me, the gold, even though it's a shiny gold, it just seems muted, as does the blue. I don't know. There's just something about the coloring on this that I don't want to say it's off, but it just doesn't seem to pop as much as it should, as you think it would. But I do like the sculpt. I do like the look of it. And of course, like, even in here, we have, instead of just smooth, we have that McFarlane texturing going on so that everything has a little bit of dynamicness to it. And look at the muscles in his thighs, too. This whole thing is great. I really like this. And even the cape, the way that the cape just stretches across the back of his shoulders, there's something very regal about that, I feel. And I like how it kind of comes down and flows in the wind. I know a lot of people don't like the directional capes. They'd rather it just hangs. But I do like the capes having a little bit of flair to them. So, just the look of him. I think it's a decent representation of the Azrael armor from the Nightfall series. I don't think it's perfect. I think it's decent. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been waiting so long for it, and I was expecting, like, perfection out of it, because something like this is really right up Todd's alley. It's 90s, it has spikies, it's Batman. Like, I'm legitimately surprised this wasn't one of the first figures from the first Batman figures that Todd came out with. Now, bringing it up close, we're going to take a look at the articulation, and the head, considering he has this huge collar, is amazingly mobile. So he has some tilt to him, some really good tilt. He'll do a full 360 spin. Look at this. He can look up, which is great. And he can look down. He can bury the chin. The chin fits inside that collar, which I was really surprised at the amount of mobility. He has more mobility than some figures that have nothing going on in the collar. I really like this. Now, coming down to the arms, he has the butterfly joint under the shoulder cowling here. And the arms will do a full 360, but they have to go out to the side, because even though this is, let me show you, let's get the arm out of the way. Even though this is a soft rubber right in here, it still holds its shape very well because it's glued down to the chest piece, and of course, pegged and glued in back. So this section right here holds its form very well, so that if you try and go up, it does have to go out just a little bit. He has bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows that, because of the chunkiness of the gauntlets, doesn't really give the amount of travel that you'd want, but it still looks better than what I was expecting. And then the wrists, of course, pivot, hinge in and out, or you can do this, you can do this. Whoop. Come on, you can do this, you can do this. Ah, it's not doing this. Come on, wrists, work with me here. Ah, they were working before. There we go. And then they'll go up and down. It sticks a little just because of the bracer here, the wrist bracer here. It gets a little hung up sometimes. Now, also for this figure, and especially for his size, he has an ab cut in here, and it's beautifully hidden by the armor and this white piece right here. Like, you can't even see. Like, he can twist at that ab cut. He can crunch back. He can crunch forward. There's a little bit of side to side, but then he also has this ball joint at the waist where he can twist at the waist. He can get some real good side to side motion going, but then he can also crank way back. and he can crunch way forward. And I have to admit, for as chonky as all this was up in here, I wasn't expecting it to have this newer, better articulation in the waist right here, in the abs and at the waistline. Now down here, once again, trunks are very soft, as we've been seeing before, so that his leg can come up almost to... Oh, no, there, we get to 90. Come way, way out to the side. Great for a Batman figure. Can go back. Has that hidden hip swivel in there, which isn't bad. In's not great, but out is pretty good. Double jointed knees with some decent travel. Really good travel, actually, underneath that cape. Ankles rock back. Ankles rock forward. Forward facing pin for some rock. And toe articulation. Okay, so while I said before I really like these gauntlets, and I do, I really like these gauntlets. I like the look of them, I like the design of them, I like the mold of them. However, these are very soft rubber fingers right here. So they're not going to break. They'll bend, they won't break. But the problem is that because of the design of them, because of the shape of them, and how they're sort of open like this for claw strikes, they're not going to hold anything. So even if he did have accessories, which he has none of, not even a batarang or anything, he wouldn't be able to hold it anyway. Like, for an example, here's a sword, an Azreal sword, that you can see it's not going to fit securely in either one of his mitts. So he can't even carry the sword around like he does in White Knight if you wanted it to be, if you wanted it to be like that. And I don't have a batarang on me right now, but I can pretty much guarantee that he wouldn't even be able to hold a batarang in these clawed hands. Something else that I want to take a look at here with his gauntlets is these big barrels right here. There is no swivel to these at all. These are static. These are locked in place. And I don't think the position that they're in is great, because you have this little piece that juts out right here just above the hands that stop it from getting like any upward articulation, that those get in the way. And sometimes you want to be able to just rotate the gauntlets to get these spines in a different position than when you're posing him. I know McFarlane has their articulation set, but they've gone against the grain before. And I think this would have been one place where it would have been good to do that again and just make it so that you could rotate these barrels right here on the gauntlets. Accessories! Azrael does come with the standard DC stand, black circle with the DC logo tampoed on it. And here is the collector card that comes with the figure. Once again, it is that cover of the issue that we saw that's on the back of the box. And then on the back right here, we have a bio for Azrael. And now for size comparisons, here he is with McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman from Detective Comics 1000 and Azrael from Legends of the White Knight. And I think Batman and Azbats are a decent scale with each other. Azrael was a little bit bigger in the armor, so I don't have a problem with that. Like, this I think actually is a good pairing. The eye lines are pretty much even. This head is just... I keep on saying this. This would be, like, better proportioned if he had a bigger noggin. But I think I have a fix for this that we'll have coming up soon. This, I don't know. This always seems short to me. But now lined up with these three, he seems to fit in. That his eye line is a little lower than... Well, no, actually, his eye line is probably a lot lower. This just feels too short. Like, whether the head was crunched down, smushed down, he has no neck, I don't know. This design, as much as I love this figure, always seemed a little short to me in comparison. He's supposed to be 6'1". And here he is with more McFarlane Toys figures from the DC Multiverse. Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, and Black Lantern Batman, both from the Blackest Night wave. And for the last of the McFarlane Toys comparisons, here he is with Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn and Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher 3. Here he is with Hasbro Marvel Legends Captain Marvel and Binary. Here he is with Lanyard Toys City Hunter Predator and Xenomorph Drone. Here he is with Jazzware's Spartan Collection Master Chief from Halo 2 and Noble 6. And finally, here he is with Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Crocmaster and me from the Valaverse Action Force Steel Brigade. So I know this is usually the point where I say, holy cow, I love this figure, I really love this figure. But the truth of the matter is, this one is a little underwhelming. Whether it's because I've been waiting for it for so long, whether it's because it has such an important place in my mind in the Batman mythos, whether it's because it was a Walmart exclusive and there was a lot of stress as about whether or not I was even going to get this, I don't know. Something about this is just a little underwhelming, especially after looking at how well he did with things like the Blackest Night figures, with how well he's doing with like Owlman and the Crime Syndicate figures. And I don't have it, but even the amount of detail and sculpting and everything that he put into the McFarlaneized version of Batman, I don't know. And all of those Batman metal figures that came out, like, something about this is just a little underwhelming, and I can't put my finger on it. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad I have it. I'm definitely glad that it's part of the collection. I'm glad I was able to get my hands on it, but there's just something about it that could have been better, and if I could explain what that is, I would, but something about this just doesn't meet the expectations that I had. And that could just be me. I may have just built this up too much in my head that I was like, holy cow, the Azbat figure is out, gotta get it. Checked online every day, finally had it available at my store, went out and got it, and now this is what I have. I don't know what it is, because I do think the sculpt is decent for it. I do like that the legs aren't smooth, that it has that McFarlane texturing to it. Once again, the clawed gauntlets I think look really good, and I am impressed with the amount of articulation that the head has, considering he has that big armored collar around him. But just something seems off, and I can't put my finger on it, that, I don't know. It could just be me. I do wish the gauntlets swiveled, though. I wish there was articulation in the gauntlets, because those being static kind of looks a little wonky sometimes when you're posing him, when you're taking pictures of him. I do like that, like, the bat bone spires that are coming off of his legs, those are soft enough that they're not going to break. I appreciate that. And I really love that he has all of that great articulation in the waist. Unfortunately, the heavy cape kind of makes that moot because it throws him off balance. But it is what it is. I'm just glad to see that the articulation is getting vastly better in the McFarlane line. So this was one that I wanted to get out there. This was one I was very excited about getting out there. Also, I noticed that we have just reached and breached 900 subscribers. Thank you all very much for that. I do have something special coming up for the 900 subscriber mark, and we only have about 100 more until we get to 1,000, so woohoo! Thank you everyone that has been on this journey with me, and we have plenty more to look at coming down the line. So until then, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.